This presentation is the walkthrough of a pilot project that we have built based on your initial requirement. The goal of this pilot project was to validate the metrics, structure and also usability before scaling it further. This was treated as a pilot project. The main objective was to understand your data, validate KPI and ensure the dashboard structure aligns with how actually the stakeholders consume the insights. Once this is approved, the same framework can be extended further. We started with the raw email that's shared by your team. At this stage, the requirements were very high level and business focused rather than technical. So our first step is to decode these expectations and requirements into measurable metrics and clear business analytical questions. From the initial discussion, we have converted the raw email that you have sent the requirements into a structured feature list. This feature list helps us to define what need to be measured and how it should be sliced, and also what level of detail are needed for each stakeholders. Before jumping into development, we created mockups. This step ensured the alignment on layout, navigation and storytelling. The idea was to focus on clarity and flow rather than visuals at this stage. After submitting the mockups, based on your feedback, we have refined the mockups. This includes adjusting in layouts, charts and also simplifying the navigations. Once the updated mockup is approved, we moved to dashboard development. After finalizing the design, we started to build the dashboard. This involved data cleaning, creating data models, building relationships and also creating optimized measures to ensure accuracy and improve performance. This is the home page of our report, which acts as a central navigation hub to all the analysis pages. From here, you can easily navigate to general view, sales mode analysis and age group analysis. And I have also included a short description so that users clearly understand what insight they can expect before opening a page. We have also added a support button. When clicked it opens a support panel with quick actions. For example, if someone is new to Power BI and they can directly access Power BI documentation tailored for business users. At the bottom left, we have also included the last data reference timestamp along with the data availability details. Currently, the report contains premium data updated up to April 2023, which helps maintain data transparency and trust in the data. And I have also made a few subtle UI adjustments from the original mockup to reduce the clutter and ensure insights are presented more clearly. And now let's do our first page, general view. Let me start with the general view of our Shield Insurance dashboard. At the top, we have the page navigation buttons. On the left side, you can see the filters and abbreviations that help us to control the analysis. In the center, we are showing our key main KPIs: total revenue, total customer, DRG, daily revenue growth, and DCG, daily customer growth. By default, this view shows overall performance across all months. Now, if I filter the data to December 2022, the KPI updates automatically to show that month's performance. Below each KPI, we also see the previous month's value and the percentage change, which helps us quickly understand it is a growth or decline. When I move the filter to January 2023, you will notice that all KPIs turn red. This tells us that compared to December, performance dropped across revenue, customers and growth metrics such as DCG and DRG. In February 2023, the numbers start recovering. Most KPIs move up again, though the customer KPI shows a small dip. Then in March 2023, we see a huge spike across all KPI. However, in April 2023, there is a sudden and significant drop. So the obvious question is, why did this happen? To understand this, I looked at the customer trend chart at the bottom. From the trend, we can clearly see a small drop in January and February 2023 and a sharp increase in March and then a major drop in April. This shows a clear pattern. Whenever customer count increases, our KPI improves. Whenever customer count drops, KPI is also decline. For example, you can see a small drop in January, right? If I filter data by January, you can see our KPI are declined. And there is a huge spike in March, right? If I filter data by March, you can see our KPI have improved. And there is a sudden fall in April. So when I filter data by April month, you can see that our KPI are performing very poor. So the spike in March and the drop in April are directly driven by customer movement. Now the next question is, why did customer count change so much? To answer this, I drill down further using sales mode filter because different channels contribute differently to customer acquisition. When I filter by online website, we see consistent growth every month, including January. The same pattern appears for online app. Customer count keeps increasing month over month. However, when we look at offline direct sales, the trend is continuously declining and offline agent shows the same downward trend. So the drop in customer during January 2023 happened mainly because both offline channels were losing customers, even though online channels were performing well. In March 2023, all sales mode online and offline showed growth. That's why we see a huge spike in customers which directly boosts our KPIs. But in April 2023, both online and offline modes declined, especially offline direct and offline agent. This led to sharp fall in customer count and as a result, a major drop in KPI performance. So in summary, customer trend is the key driver of KPI performance and the offline sales mode are the main reasons for volatility. My suggestion and recommendation is that to stabilize performance going forward, I could recommend investigating why offline channels are losing customers and improving agent performance, incentives and training, and shifting focus towards strengthening high performing online channels while fixing gaps in the offline models. This will help reduce sudden drops and create more consistent KPI growth. And let me remove the filter I haven't applied. If you want to remove filter, you can use this clear filter option here. I have removed the filters to get the overall data. And next, this visual shows the revenue split by city based on overall data now. Here we can see that Delhi NCR is the top performing city, contributing the highest revenue and also having the highest number of customers. This is followed by Mumbai and then Hyderabad, Chennai and Indore, where both revenue and customer count gradually decreases. A clear pattern we can see here is that as customer count increases, revenue also increases across cities. So the difference in city-wise revenue is mainly driven by customer volume, not pricing or any unusual behavior. And next, this visual shows the customer split by age group along with the revenue contribution. Here you can see that the 31 to 40 age group has the highest number of customers and also generates the highest revenue. This is followed by 41 to 50, which also shows strong performance in both customers and revenue. One interesting insight appears in the 51 to 65 and 65 plus age groups. Even though these age groups have fewer customers compared to younger segments, their revenue contribution is relatively high. This tells us that revenue is not driven only by the customer count, but also by the type and value of policies they purchased. In insurance, usually older age groups prefer and choose higher coverage amounts and also prefer long-term and comprehensive plans, pay higher premiums due to higher risk factors, right? And then here we have the customer segmentation by age groups and cities. And also, as per your initial requirement, we have added this toggle button between revenue and customer. If you click this revenue button, you can also see the revenue trend by month. You can see that customer trend and revenue trend looks similar because if the customer count is increased, the revenue is also going to be increased, right? And we have also included the support button for each batch too. As for our general view, and that's one more point. If you filter data by month November 2022, you will see last month as NA because we don't have the previous month data. Our model starts from the November month. That's why it's showing NA. And now let's move to the sales mode analysis. Before we get into the insights, I just want to highlight a small difference from the mockup you have shared. On this page, I have slightly refined the UI and added two key KPIs, revenue and customer count, along with a small sparkline trend next to them. The idea behind this is to give you an instant sense of performance and direction without even reading the charts. As a data analyst, my role is not just to replicate a mockup, but to enhance it in a way that helps uncover insights and support better business decisions. Currently, I have cleared all the filters to get the overall data. If you look at the customer distribution by sales mode, offline agent clearly dominates, contributing more than half of the total customers. Even though digital channels like online app, websites are growing, but the business is still heavily dependent on agent-driven sales. When you look at the revenue contribution by sales mode, this pattern is consistent on the revenue side as well. Offline agent not only brings the highest number of customers but also generates the highest revenue share, indicating strong ticket sizes and trust-driven sales in this channel. When you look out the monthly customer trend, we can clearly see that offline direct is continuously declining and performing worse than the online channels. Offline agent is also showing a downward trend, but despite the fall, it still contributes significantly higher volumes compared to other modes. On the other hand, online modes show relatively more stability and growth potential, especially in the recent months. Overall, this tells us that while offline agent remains the backbone of business today, there is a visible shift in customer behavior. Strengthening digital channels would help offset the declining offline trends and reduce the dependency on a single sales mode in long run. And now let's move to our next view, age group analysis. Here this visual shows how different age groups prefer different sales mode, and this is again at an overall level without any filter applied. Across all age groups, offline agent clearly remains the most preferred sales mode. This aligns with what we saw earlier in the sales mode analysis, where offline agent dominated both customer count and revenue. If you look closely, the 31 to 40 and 41 to 50 age groups stand out. They contribute the highest customer volume overall and also show the strongest preference of our offline agent, indicating this segment is the core driver of the business. And you can also see that compared to the older age group category, lower age group category preferred online agents a little bit higher. And here this table shows the policy preference percentage by age group. Since there are multiple policies and even a scroll button involved, instead of going row by row, I will focus on the key points. If we look at the 18 to 24 and 25 to 30 age groups, we can see that both segments show a very similar policy preference pattern. They are largely choosing the same set of policies, with one or two policies clearly dominating their selection. This indicates that younger customers have fairly uniform needs and expectations from the insurance product, which opens up opportunities for targeted products and focused marketing for this customer segment. This chart here shows the expected settlement percentage across different age group categories, which indicates how much of the claim amount customers expect to get settled. We can clearly see a strong age-based pattern here. Expected settlement percentage steadily increases with age. Younger customers, especially in the age group to 18 to 24 and 25 to 30, have lower expected settlement percentage, where older customers, particularly 51 plus, expect significantly higher settlement outcomes. This suggests that older customers are more risk-aware and value claim certainty, while younger customers may be more cost-sensitive and less focused on settlement outcomes. This also explains why older age groups rely more on offline agents, because higher settlement expectations often require more guidance, trust, and clarity, which agents provide much better than any online websites or apps, right? This view combines the monthly customer trend by age group along with the overall customer distributions. From the trend chart, we can see that the 31 to 40 age group category consistently leads across months and show a clear peak around March, which aligns with the overall customer growth we observed earlier. The 41 to 50 segment follows a similar pattern but at a lower scale level, while other age groups remain relatively stable with smaller fluctuations. This also explains several patterns we saw earlier: the dominance of offline agent sales, higher revenue contribution, and stronger settlement expectations. All are heavily influenced by these middle-aged customer groups. And that brings us to the end of the analysis. Thank you for your time.